Your future is born in the quiet moments when the world is asleep and you're alone with the voice inside your head. At 2 a.m., when the doubts creep in or the dreams ignite, the words you whisper to yourself are shaping your destiny. This isn't chance, this isn't fate. This is the raw power of your inner voice, carving the path to your reality. If you fill that voice with belief, passion, and unshakable conviction, the world has no choice but to bend to your vision. But if that voice is laced with fear, doubt, or defeat, you're building a cage around your potential with your own hands. Right now, in this very moment, decide that your voice will be your greatest weapon. Because when you speak greatness to yourself, you start walking toward it. Life is a mirror. It reflects back exactly what you project. If you tell yourself you're a failure, the world will paint your days with shades of defeat. If you say you're weak, your steps will falter, but if you declare to your soul, I am powerful, I am unstoppable, my future is mine to shape, the universe will conspire to make it so. This isn't a fairy tale, it's a truth as old as time. Your inner voice is the architect of your identity. It's the foundation upon which your life is built. Every word you speak to yourself is a brick, either raising a monument to your dreams or a wall around your fears. Inside every one of us is a voice that never stops. It's there when you wake up, whispering as the sun rises. It's there in moments of failure, murmuring in the shadows. It's there in your triumphs, singing in the light. This voice isn't just words. It's a command to your mind, a guide to your soul. When you say, I can't, your brain shuts the door. When you say, I will, your mind starts searching for the key. Your words don't just describe your reality, they create it. They set your limits or declare your freedom. They define who you are or who you'll become. Most people don't realize they're hypnotizing themselves every day with the language they choose. They say, I'm not enough. I always fail. I'm just unlucky. With every word, they're forging chains, locking themselves in a prison of their own making. These aren't just phrases, they're shackles. They cage your dreams, break your courage, and bury your potential. But the moment you change that language, the moment you say, I am enough, I was born to rise, my failures are my lessons, you shatter those chains, you set your identity free, you open the door to a life that matches your worth. Picture yourself as a gardener. Your words are the seeds you plant in the soil of your mind. If you sow seeds of doubt and fear, your garden will be overrun with weeds and thorns. But if you plant seeds of belief and strength, your garden will bloom with flowers and fruit. Every day, every moment, you're choosing what to plant and what to harvest. So decide today that you'll only speak words that water your dreams, that give wings to your courage, that light up your soul. Your words are the harvest of your future. Choose them with care. The greatest minds, the boldest leaders, the most unstoppable souls, they speak differently. They say, I will build, I will learn, I will not stop. Their words aren't wishes, they're vows. Promises they make to themselves. And those promises carry them through the darkest nights into the brightest mornings. They know their voice is their power. They know their inner dialogue is the map to their success. They don't just hope for a better life. They speak it into existence. Your life is a reflection of the words you choose. If you tell yourself you're weak, you'll live weakly. If you say you're a failure, you'll craft a life of defeat. But if you proclaim you're powerful, that you're unstoppable, that your future is yours to mold, your life will take on the colors of that belief. This isn't magic, it's your birthright. It's your choice to make your voice your ally or your enemy. It's your decision to let your words lift you or destroy you. Every victory, every breakthrough, every monumental change begins with a single voice. Yours, the voice that says you are worthy. You can do this. You are not done. This voice is your greatest teacher, your most loyal friend. But it can only guide you if you listen. It can only lift you if you strengthen it. It can only lead you if you make it the loudest sound in your soul. Too many wait for the world to believe in them before they believe in themselves. But that's a lie. The world won't see your greatness until you declare it first. And that declaration starts in the quiet conversations you have with your heart, the words you speak in solitude, the truths you etch into your mind. Imagine you're a sculptor holding a block of stone. Your words are the chisel, shaping that stone with every strike. Each phrase, each thought, each belief carves a piece of your future. If you say, "This stone is nothing," it stays a lifeless rock. But if you say, "This stone will be a masterpiece," you begin to carve, your words guide your hands, your thoughts shape your creation, and in the end, that stone becomes the vision you held in your heart. Your life is that stone, your voice is that chisel. What will you carve? Changing your inner voice isn't easy. It demands discipline. It requires a vow, but this vow is for you. It's a promise you make to yourself that you won't let your voice become your weakness, that you won't let your words become your limits, that you won't let your thoughts become your prison. Instead, you'll make your voice a declaration of freedom. You'll make your words a source of power. You'll make your thoughts a map to your dreams. Every morning you have a choice. Will you say, "I'm tired, nothing changes"? Or will you say, "Today is mine, today I rise, today I take another step toward my dreams"? That choice is your power. That voice is your future, and when you make it strong, the world has no choice but to listen. Your words are not just sounds. They're signals to the universe. They're instructions to your mind. They're the blueprint of your identity. When you speak with certainty, you move with purpose. When you speak with doubt, you stumble in fear. The difference between a life of struggle and a life of triumph often comes down to the conversations no one else hears. So choose your words like they're the most precious currency you own. Spend them on belief, on courage, on possibility. Because what you say to yourself today will become the life you live tomorrow. This is the truth that champions know. Your voice is your power. It's not about what the world says about you. It's about what you say to yourself. It's not about the doubts others plant. It's about the truths you nurture. It's not about the obstacles life throws at you. It's about the strength you speak into existence. You don't need permission to become who you were meant to be. You don't need validation to claim your worth. You need only the courage to let your inner voice roar. And when it does, it will echo through your actions, your choices, your life. The world will hear it, the world will see it, but it starts with you. Your dreams are sparked by your words, but your reality is forged by repetition. Saying something once isn't enough. Thinking it fleetingly won't cut it. To convince your mind, to strengthen your heart, to elevate your soul, you must repeat your voice until it becomes your truth. This repetition is your greatest weapon. It's the bridge that turns fear into faith, doubt into certainty, weakness into power. When you say, "I am unstoppable," and repeat it every day with fire in your chest, your mind begins to believe it. And when your mind believes it, your life begins to live it. Picture your mind as a blank canvas. Every word you speak, every thought you entertain paints a stroke on that canvas. If you wake up each day saying, "I always fail," "Nothing goes my way," your canvas fills with dark, heavy colors. Your mind accepts that darkness as reality. But if you rise each morning and declare, "I am strong, I am growing, my future is bright," your canvas glows with light and possibility. Your mind starts painting a world that matches that vision. This is the magic of repetition. It's the power to program your mind to shape your destiny with the words you choose to echo. Too many people want to change their lives but keep repeating the wrong story. They replay their failures, their fears, their insecurities, then wonder why they feel trapped. Your mind is like a record player. Whatever track you play, it spins. If you play the track of doubt, you'll hear defeat. If you play the track of strength, you'll hear triumph. The world doesn't change, the song does. And you're the one choosing the music. Repetition builds belief because your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's repeated. Say something long enough, and it becomes your truth. Think about fear. It doesn't take hold after one thought. It grows because you repeat the story. What if I fail? What if I'm not enough? What if it all falls apart? Over time, that repetition becomes a belief, and that belief becomes a cage. Now imagine flipping that power in your favor. What if you repeated, "I always find a way, I'm built for challenges, I rise when it's tough"? What would happen? Your mind would start collecting evidence to prove it. You'd see solutions where you once saw problems. You'd feel strength where you once felt fear, not because life changed, but because your story did. The most powerful people in the world know this secret. They don't just hope for confidence, they build it. They don't wait for success, they speak it. They say, I make things happen. I turn obstacles into opportunities. I am the one who decides my future. Their words aren't empty, they're deliberate. Their fuel, they create certainty, and that certainty drives action. That action creates results. It's a cycle: repetition, belief, identity, action, reality, and it all starts with the words you choose to repeat. Most people think belief comes first. They wait for proof, for success, for confidence to arrive like a gift. But belief is manufactured. You create it by speaking it before the world sees it. You repeat it until it feels real. You feel it until you live it. Repetition is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. You become what you remind yourself of every day. If you remind yourself of your failures, you'll stay stuck in them. If you remind yourself of your strength, you'll step into it. This isn't pretending, it's training. It's refusing to let your past be the loudest voice in your life. You can't control every thought that enters your mind, but you can control which ones you repeat. And the thoughts you repeat become your beliefs, even if they start as a whisper. Maybe you don't feel strong today. Maybe you don't feel confident. Maybe you don't feel like you're winning. That's okay. Say it anyway. Repeat it anyway. Because you're not speaking to the version of you that feels weak. You're speaking to the version that's rising, growing, becoming. Your words are seeds, and repetition is how they take root. Think about learning to walk as a child. You didn't quit after one fall. You kept going, failing, falling, struggling, but eventually your brain said, I've got this. Every success in your life, walking, writing, speaking, came from repetition. So why would becoming confident, powerful, or unstoppable be any different? The challenge is that repetition takes discipline. It's easy to repeat negativity, to dwell on frustration, to echo doubt. But if you want a new future, you must be intentional about the words you let live in your mind. You must decide, these are the thoughts I feed myself every day, not once, not on a good day, every day. When you say, I am becoming unstoppable, your mind starts acting like it's true. When you say, I always find a way, solutions begin to appear. When you say, I'm not done yet, your body surges with energy you didn't know you had. There will come a moment when you don't have to force it anymore. The belief will no longer be a thought, it'll be who you are. The words you once repeated to become strong will be the words you speak because you are strong. That's the power of repetition. You speak it long enough, you feel it. You feel it long enough, you live it. You live it long enough and it becomes your truth. Your language is more than words. It's a trigger for your emotions. One sentence can drain your strength and another can set your soul on fire. Say, I'm exhausted, and your body slumps. Say, I'm recharging, and you feel possibility. Say, everything's falling apart, and despair takes hold. Say, I'm being shaped, I'm growing, and hope rises. The words you choose are levers, pulling your emotions up or pushing them down. Most people weaken themselves with their language and don't even know it. They say, I'm stressed, I'm stuck, nothing works. They're not just describing their life. They're programming themselves to feel drained, trapped, hopeless. But the great ones, the ones who thrive under pressure, they speak differently. They say, I was made for this. There's always a way. Their words don't dodge reality. They command it. They choose language that gives them power, that decides the meaning of their challenges. You can make a problem feel 10 times bigger by exaggerating it with words, or you can make it conquerable by reframing it. Call something impossible, and your brain stops trying. Call it a challenge, and your mind hunts for strategies. Language either locks the door or lights the path. It's your choice. Emotions don't just happen. They're created by the meaning you give to an experience, and meaning is shaped by words. Lose a job and you can say, my life is over, and feel hopeless. Or you can say, this is my chance to build something better, and feel alive. The event didn't change. The words did. Those words created a new emotion, a new energy, a new outcome. Start noticing the phrases you use out of habit. How often do you say, I'm tired, I'm stressed, I'm stuck? You're not just venting. You're wiring your brain to stay there. Replace those words with ones that empower you. Instead of I'm stressed, say I'm handling a lot and I'm getting stronger. Instead of I always fail, say I'm learning faster every time. Your words are instructions to your nervous system. They tell your brain how to respond, your emotions how to feel, your future how to form. Champions speak with certainty because they know language is fuel. Say, I'm unstoppable, and your posture shifts. Say, I'm done, and your body collapses. One phrase ignites you, the other extinguishes you. The difference is a sentence, but that sentence changes everything. You can turn anxiety into excitement by changing the words you attach to it. Instead of I'm nervous, say I'm ready. Instead of this scares me, say this challenges me. Your heart races either way. The difference is what you tell your brain it means. Language is the switch. Flip it and your emotions follow. Motivation doesn't just appear. You create it with your words. Say today will be powerful, and your mind prepares for power. Say it's just another day, and you get exactly that. Nothing new, nothing bold, nothing extraordinary. The world responds to your energy, and your energy is shaped by the words you choose. If you want a new life, start speaking a new language. Talk like the person you want to be. Speak with intention, with emotion, with power. You're not lying to yourself. You're leading yourself. You're giving your mind new directions, new meaning, a new future. Your identity is the root of your reality, and your habits are the branches that bear the fruit of your life. Most people try to change their lives by forcing new behaviors, more discipline, more consistency, more motivation, but they're starting in the wrong place. You don't change your life by wrestling with habits while clinging to an old identity. You change your identity, and the habits follow like a river follows its course. When you speak to yourself as the person you want to become, you begin acting like that person without struggle. Your behavior aligns with who you believe you are, and your life transforms from the inside out. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, you'll keep struggling even when opportunities knock. If you see yourself as someone who quits, you'll give up even when success is one step away. If you see yourself as broken, unworthy, or unlucky, your choices will mirror that story. But the moment you shift your identity, everything shifts with it. When you speak to yourself as a winner, you make choices like a winner. When you speak as someone disciplined, you show up with discipline. When you speak as someone unstoppable, quitting stops being an option. Your identity isn't built in a single moment. It's forged through repeated words, thoughts, actions, and emotions. Imagine someone who says, I'm trying to get fit. Trying is weak, it leaves room for failure. But when someone says, I'm an athlete, everything changes. They eat like an athlete, train like an athlete, rest like an athlete. Their identity shapes their habits. Or someone who says, I want to quit smoking, versus I'm not a smoker anymore. The second statement is a declaration of identity. It shuts the door on negotiation. Language builds identity, and identity builds behavior. This is why so many fail to transform. They try to change their actions while their inner voice still says, I'm lazy, I'm not good enough, I'm not worth it. Their habits fight their identity, and the old story wins. But when you change the voice, you change the game. Say, I'm the kind of person who follows through. I keep promises to myself. I show up even when it's hard. Your mind starts operating from that truth. Suddenly, habits that felt impossible become natural. You're not fighting yourself anymore. You're aligned, and once your identity shifts, momentum becomes unstoppable. When you tell yourself you're focused, you seek ways to focus. When you say you're a leader, you make decisions like a leader. When you say you're disciplined, you do the things you once avoided. Success stops requiring willpower. It becomes who you are. Look at the greats. Before they had success, they had the identity. A champion trains like a champion before the world crowns them. A visionary thinks like a visionary before the world sees their vision. A leader speaks like a leader before anyone follows. It starts inside. with the words they feed themselves, the identity they choose, the belief they repeat until it's real. If you don't believe you're capable, you won't try. If you don't believe you're worthy, you won't receive. If you don't believe you're strong, you'll avoid the battles that make you stronger. Your identity controls your choices more than motivation ever will. The fastest way to change your life is to change the story you tell yourself about who you are. You don't need proof. You don't need permission. You choose now. Want to be disciplined? Speak like someone disciplined. Want to be confident? Speak like someone confident. Want to be a leader? Speak like one. Your words don't describe your identity. They build it. Say it daily. Say it boldly. Say it until your mind believes it and your actions prove it. Identity is the root. Habits are the branches. Results are the fruit. And it all begins with the voice in your head. Your inner dialogue is the architect of your future. Not luck, not talent, not circumstances. Your voice. You can have endless potential, but if your inner dialogue speaks fear, you'll live small. If it speaks doubt, you'll hesitate. If it speaks weakness, you'll shrink from your destiny. But if your voice becomes your coach, your fuel, your fire, everything changes. Not because the world got easier, but because you got stronger. Every day you're either building yourself up or tearing yourself down with that inner conversation. Don't be your own villain. Don't let the voice in your head convince you that you're not enough. Your mind is always listening. Say, I'll probably fail, and your subconscious locks the door. Say, I'm capable, I'm ready, I'll figure it out, and your brain unleashes energy, focus, clarity. The world didn't change, your voice did. Think about when you felt unstoppable. It wasn't because everything was perfect. It was because your inner voice said, go. Think about when you backed down. It wasn't because you lacked ability. It was because your voice talked you out of it. That's how powerful it is. It can open doors or chain them shut. Fear has no power until you give it words. Fear is just energy, neutral, raw. It becomes paralysis when you say, I can't handle this. It's too risky. I'm not ready. Change the words and fear becomes fuel. Say, this scares me, but I'm doing it anyway. Say, I don't know how, but I'll learn. Say, I've survived everything before. I'll survive this too. Suddenly, fear turns into fire. Your inner dialogue also shapes how you handle failure. One person says, this proves I'm not meant for this. Another says, this is teaching me how to win. Same moment, different futures. The voice of defeat kills growth. The voice of ownership builds mastery. You're always one decision away from a new life, but your inner voice can keep you stuck in the familiar. It replays old doubts, old failures, old insecurities, and expects you to feel confident. You can't feel powerful while narrating weakness. You can't feel worthy while repeating unworthiness. Want a better future? Speak like you deserve it. Want confidence? Speak like you're capable of greatness. Want success? Speak with certainty, not hesitation. Your inner dialogue is the blueprint of your actions. The real battle is the one no one hears. When challenges hit, you have two choices. Let your voice break you or let it build you. Say, I've handled worse. I'll handle this. When doubt creeps in, don't argue, replace it. Say, I was made for more. When you feel stuck, don't say, I can't. Say, I'm finding a way. When you feel behind, don't say, I'm failing. Say, I'm preparing. These aren't just words. They're commands to your mind, your emotions, your future. There will be days when doubt tries to reclaim you, but you don't have to obey it. You can talk louder. You can rewire it. You can become the strongest voice in your own mind. The moment you own your inner dialogue, the world loses its power to shake you. Once the voice inside believes in you, it doesn't matter who doesn't. Once it's strong, setbacks can't break you. Once it says, I'm not done, and nothing can stop you, your voice is your weapon, your power, your future. Because when your inner dialogue outshines your fear, your future outshines your past. Words spark the fire, but action fans the flames. You can speak belief, repeat strength, build identity, but your life changes when you live it. The voice is the ignition, action is the engine. You don't become strong by saying strong. You become strong by acting like someone who refuses to break. You don't become confident by saying confident. You become confident by doing what scares you. Action turns words into reality. Speak like a champion, then live like one. Because when your actions match your voice, you don't just dream of greatness, you become it.